Derek Chauvin's murder conviction
to determine whether the Minneapolis Police Department engages in a pattern or practice of unconstitutional or unlawful policing
is inciting a new push for police reform. President Biden announces a new tax credit.
If you've been waiting for your turn, wait no longer.
After millions of COVID vaccines have been distributed. And a new soccer initiative in Europe.
We're gonna bounce in a minute! Bounce in a minute! We're gonna bounce in a minute!
Sets protests in motion all over London. It's all coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Zitlali Solache, and today is Thursday, April 22nd, 2021.
From the South Florida Media Network's Biscayne-based studios in North Miami, this is SFMN Newsbreak.
Developing news, Broward County School Superintendent Robert Runcie is back home this morning following his arrest. Runcie was taken into custody yesterday and has since bonded out. He is facing a felony charge for perjury. During an investigation relating to school safety laws, he allegedly made a false statement. Runcie has been working with Broward County Public Schools since 2011. His lawyers say he will plead not guilty and is planning to fight the accusations. Also this morning, Derek Chauvin's conviction of murder for the death of George Floyd has resulted in an investigation by the Federal Justice Department. The Attorney General and his staff will work to determine if the Minneapolis Police Department engages in a pattern of discriminatory policing and whether it engages in a pattern of using excessive force.
The Justice Department has opened a civil investigation to determine whether the Minneapolis Police Department engages in a pattern or practice of unconstitutional or unlawful policing.
The bill the president mentioned passed the House without any Republican support in March. It bans chokeholds and no-knock warrants. It also creates a national registry for police misconduct. It mandates the use of deadly force as a last resort. It bans racial and religious profiling. It overhauls overqualified immunity, which provides legal protection for police officers. In the neighboring city of Brooklyn Heights, Minnesota, 20-year-old Dante Wright gets buried later today. Friends and family members gathered yesterday for a public viewing. Wright is the young man who was shot and killed by a police officer during a traffic stop earlier this month. The officer and the city's police chief resigned after the chief said the officer mistook her gun for a taser. The United States Senate is set to vote on the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act today. The bill is supposed to address anti-Asian hate crimes by allowing the Justice Department to respond faster to them. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said he expects the bill to pass with bipartisan support later this week. A word of a touching tribute this morning after lawmakers honored the late congressman from South Florida, Alcy Hastings. At the time of his death earlier this month, Hastings was the state's longest-serving member in the House. A celebration of life honoring the late U.S. Representative Alcy Hastings was held Wednesday morning at the U.S. Capitol. Vice President Kamala Harris was present, along with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who paid her tribute with a speech.
Alcy's electrifying spirit, boundless compassion, and great and often devastating wit will be greatly missed, as will his leadership and friendship by all blessed to have known him and all thus privileged to call him colleague.
Pelosi co-hosted the ceremony with Chair Joyce Beatty and members of the Florida congressional delegation. Some, like Cedric Richmond, had uplifting eulogies to share during the ceremony.
You know, I'm from the South, so when you get real passionate, you say something, you say no offense intended. Alcy said it, and then he said, offense intended. And I said, oh, he's a different type of person.
The longtime U.S. congressman that represented South Florida accomplished many works, like from here in his office in Florida's 20th Congressional District.
These last 10 months, I spoke to him almost every day, honored by the privilege to be his proxy. Good days or bad, he made sure that he personally told me his vote preferences.
Representative Wasserman concluded with sharing the passion and impact Hastings had for his position, as he was the longest-serving representative from Florida, making him dean of the state's congressional delegation.
Liberty and justice for all. That's our pledge to the flag. That was Alcy's pledge to the world.
President Biden is giving small businesses a helping hand.
To put it simply, if you've been waiting for your turn, wait no longer. No working American should lose a single dollar from their paycheck because they chose to fulfill their patriotic duty of getting vaccinated.
The new tax credit will give small and medium-sized businesses $500 per employee to allow employees to take time off to get the vaccine and to recover from vaccine-related symptoms. The White House is also expected to commit the United States to a new environmental goal at a climate summit today. He will announce a plan to reduce emissions 50 to 52% by 2030. Officials say President Biden reached the number Wednesday after long consultations with experts. The specifics of how he plans to reach this goal are unclear at the time, but are expected to be announced later in the year. NASA's return to space mission, but on hold for the day. That's still ahead, and so is this story.
No regards whatsoever for the largest stakeholders in the game, the most important people in football, and that is the supporters.
The decision of European soccer teams to form a super league of having rivals across sports this morning and could even affect the next World Cup. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Or maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love. Roll over.
Chance high five. All right.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique. And your mother and... I am totally a hot person. Right, guys? Thanks for being honest. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
Fans fed up and taking to the streets. A proposal in Europe threatens to break up the continent's major league soccer teams. Aftershocks in the sports world this morning after the proposal which move all European high-profile soccer teams into a new league. As the network's Casey Mintz explains in his final report for SFMN, the decision could impact which players are eligible to play in the World Cup.
There has been a lot of fallout in reaction to Sunday's announcement of the European Super League. The deal, financed by JP Morgan, formed a league of these top-tier soccer teams from England, Spain, and Italy. UEFA officials are livid over the secrecy of the Super League.
You know, I was a criminal lawyer for years, and I've met many tricky people that I even represented, but I've never seen something like that.
The new league has left many fans feeling betrayed by their favorite clubs. Chelsea fans have gone so far as to hold protests in the streets of London, England.
They knew we'd be dead against it. And this has the look and feel of a deal done in dark corridors or behind closed doors with no regards whatsoever for the largest stakeholders in the game, the most important people in football, and that is the supporters.
The backlash was so great that all 6 English clubs have reportedly pulled out of the league. England's Prime Minister congratulated the move in a tweet that read, "I welcome last night's announcement. This is the right result for football fans, clubs, and communities across the country. We must continue to protect our cherished national game." CNN's Kevin Egan says that the consequences of this league could have massive impacts on players' international careers.
They would leave the domestic leagues, they would leave the Champions League, and even going beyond that, we've had UEFA and FIFA talk about banning players from international competition. Can you imagine that?
This would mean players like Messi, Ronaldo, and the United States' own Weston McKennie would not be able to play in the 2022 Qatar World Cup.
With all the turmoil surrounding the Super League and all the English clubs dropping out, it remains to be seen if a single Super League game will ever kick off. And for the South Florida Media Network, one final time, I'm Casey Mintz. Thank you.
SpaceX and NASA have decided to delay their next launch of 4 astronauts to the International Space Station from today to tomorrow due to unfavorable weather conditions. A SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule and Falcon 9 rocket were scheduled to launch the mission, named Crew 2, today from Cape Canaveral, here in Florida. However, they have decided to postpone it to tomorrow at 5:43 a.m. That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Zitlali Solache. Get more news anytime at sfmn.fiu.edu.